Welcome back, bakers. Welcome to the fancy cakery. Welcome to my kitchen. This week we're going to do a Bridgerton inspired Swiss roll. I'm going to make a floral pattern on this Swiss roll that is going to be worthy of a tea party with the Queen or with Eloise or Penelope or Miss Whistledown. Is that her name? And did you know that Julie Andrews was the narrator? I did not know. So we are now going to make the batter that's going to be the outline for our design. And we're going to take 2 tablespoons of egg whites, 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of softened butter, you can melt it a little bit, and 2 tablespoons of flour. And we're going to mix this until this is nice and smooth. So easy to do. This is absolutely enough for a Swiss roll. You don't need any more batter than this. But for the next time, I think I'm going to double or triple it because it's very hard to pipe for me with my fingertips with a little batter than it is to pipe with my wrist like I'm used to. So that would be my advice, but totally up to you. And I'm going to do a light pink and a dark pink and a nice green to, make some foliage inspired because you can't have roses or flowers without leaves. And I'm going to just cut my big piping bag in half. And so I have a smaller piping bag. And you don't need to cut but just the tiniest tip off. If you make your holes too big, you are just going to have just a mess and you won't have the definition that you want to have. The biggest thing to remember is what you see when you look down as you're doing it is not what you're going to see when the Swiss roll is rolled, because the bottom of your parchment paper is actually going to be the top. So it doesn't matter how it really looks on the top when you're done. It kind of matters that you actually got all of the batter and all of the design nice and smooth on the parchment paper, because that is what is really going to be shown. And you can draw a design and put a piece of paper under it and just copy it, or you can print one off and you can do a Christmas theme, an Easter theme, you could do a champagne glass for a wedding or any theme you want. But I was just freestyling this, just easy peasy. But most important, make sure your bottom and everything is filled in. It doesn't matter so much how the top looks, it matters so much what is filled into the bottom. So make sure everything on the parchment paper has no bubbles or holes in it. Make sure that it's nice and filled in. So I'm freestyling this. I don't even know what I'm doing, just swirling, doing some swirls. But I love the design I came up with. And I am not used to doing, see how wiggly that is? I can't do my fingertips. I'm used to piping with my wrist. It's just a muscle memory thing. But so next time I think I'll do a bigger batter so I can have more muscle, more control. But I think it came out good. While our floral design is in the freezer getting cold, we're going to take our 5 egg whites and we're going to put them on high speed and we're going to make them nice and frothy and just whip them up really nice. And in another bowl, we're going to put a half a cup of vegetable oil, a half a cup plus a tablespoon of milk, 3/4 cups of flour, a teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to mix that until it's nice and smooth. The rising action in this sponge comes just from the egg whites. So when they're nice and foamy and whipped really nice, we're going to add a half a cup, a little bit at a time, of sugar until it's nice and smooth and satiny. See how shiny it looks? And these are soft peaks. See, it kind of does hold its peak, but it's also kind of soft. You don't want stiff peaks. You're not making a meringue per se. This is a meringue, but it's a soft meringue. You're going to fold that in gently. You don't want to take out the air because this is all that's going to make your sponge rise. And slowly incorporate that into your batter. When that is nice and incorporated and smooth, you're going to add that in to all the rest of the egg whites, and you're just going to fold, fold, fold. If you don't remember anything else I ever said in this whole video, just remember you're folding your egg whites. You're not mixing, you're not beating them, because you're going to take out the air and you're not going to have a sponge. Your Swiss roll is not going to rise and be nice and fluffy if you don't do this. So fold, see, fold, fold, fold. You'll remember that. The time it takes you to make your batter is just enough time in the freezer for your flowers or whatever design you're making to harden enough to hold shape for you to put the batter on top. You don't want to press too hard or move those designs in any way, but they're pretty firm already, so it's fine. In the oven, 320 degrees for 25 minutes, and don't overdo it. It's gonna be fine. Take it out, loosen the edges. This is the part that you're gonna have to work warm. You're not cooling this in the pan. You're going to sprinkle some powdered sugar. You're going to put some parchment paper over it. You're going to flip it. Yeah, it's warm and it's hot. It's hot, but it's manageable. And you're going to slowly, making sure not to let those designs come out of place. You're just going to take your time. It comes out really easy, but you just want to take your time just in case. And you want to baby it a little bit, because this is really what you made at the end of the day. And if you mess this part up and just rush this part, you're going to be upset with yourself that you spoiled it. Sprinkle powdered sugar, put some parchment paper on top, flip it back over, because when you roll it, this is the design. This is the part that is going to be at the top. So you want to roll it with this part on the outside. So you have to flip it back over. Whereas on a regular sponge roll or Swiss roll, you just could turn it out and then start rolling it. No, you have to actually flip it back over on the other side. Take that parchment paper off, sprinkle more powdered sugar, and start rolling. I was informed that if you just score it just a little bit, I probably went too deep in one area, but score it just slightly and it kind of helps that to just start rolling. You just roll, and I kind of went off cue a little bit, but then I fixed it. Roll it and baby it, pat it, fold it, and let it rest, and it's gonna cool just like that. And you're done with the first part. That's actually one of the hardest parts right there. You can fill this with buttercream or whatever filling of your choice, but the easiest, lightest filling is so simple and easy. You're just going to take a cup of heavy whipping cream, cold, 5 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and you're going to whip it until it's a whipping cream. You're going to whip it until it's whipped cream. Don't overdo it or you'll get butter. And I only have my mixer only goes from 0 to absolute high, and it just splatters all over the place and makes just the biggest mess. But it does work. You can color this if you want to, but I just love just the regular whipping cream look, and everybody knows what they're eating. They don't have to be guessing, oh, what am I tasting? You're tasting whipping cream. And this is the moment of truth. You're going to gently unroll it. Take your time. No rush. This is your baby. Just gently unroll it. And I did score one of those a little deeper than I should have. But if you really think about it, the last 3/4 of the roll is the most important. So you could kind of get away a little bit with the first half or at least the first quarter. You're going to tuck that whipped cream under the first roll, because you can't, I think if you try to flatten that out flat, it's going to crack. So you just want to push that into that first roll. And if you ever watch the British Baking Show, they judge by the form of the roll, so you don't want to spoil that piece. And when it's all nice and smooth, you're just going to roll it back up. Easy, right? I don't know if you was holding your breath, but I know I was definitely holding my breath when I was doing this. It's not hard, but you just don't want to mess it up. And if you don't do it every day and it's not something that you do on the regular, you're just not sure, is it going to work? How do I do it? I was being so gentle, but then I realized if you kind of lift up the wax paper and you help it, you see that crack, but it's going to fold over and you're not going to even see that at all. And you just kind of help it go over. It's not hard at all. You just want to take your time and you don't want to rush it at all. Don't rush it. It's going to come together, but you just be gentle. Be gentle with your Swiss roll. I'm just taking a simple syrup and I'm just going to put it on top of my Swiss roll because we're not covering this with buttercream or whipped cream. It's going to be open to the air, and we have that powdered sugar to that kept it from sticking and helped it to roll and unroll. So I'm just going to put this on top to keep it nice and moist. I know that's a bad word, but you don't want your stuff not moist. You don't want it dry. This is not hard at all. You just got to know what to do and how to do it. It's really easy. It was my first time, and look how beautiful it is. And look at that nice Swiss roll. It's curved and just beautiful with those rolls. You should try this. And it was so delicious. My husband even ate it, and he don't eat my sweets because he don't like sweets. It's light, and with the whipped cream, it's just delicious. Did this video inspire you? Well, I hope so. And if not, I am sure I have another video of another one of my lovely, most delicious recipes. So please, bakers, whatever you do, don't ever stop baking and watch one of my other videos.